The moment I rest here is who I truly am. In that same moment, I know whoever is in front of me is the same I am. They're that same love. We're all that same thing. We're all one being. There's nothing else. There are different forms, different ideas, opinions, God knows what. And I know that for a while I really took it as my practice. Because no matter what, with whomever I'm in conversation, no matter what, let's say, political ideas, because I grew up in a political family. You know, my father was a politician, local, but still that was very important. And I learned one thing, well, many things also from him, but one thing that I had endeavored to really deeply practice is that no matter what my ideas are, that I only come from love. And of course, that was not always the case when I was in heavy-duty discussions. But then I took it as my practice that no matter what anybody else feels, thinks, whatever, I'm going to receive them. I just want to stay as love. I don't want to, how do you say that? I don't want to waver away from love. I don't want to go into any divide, no matter what anybody else feels or thinks or whatever. And I can feel that's here. But I remember a few things that my father said that was very helpful. Because sometimes there were debates, and then he was in the debate. So sometimes I would go and listen to the debates. And mostly men, with just a few women, but mostly men. So there were debates, and he was in the debates, and they were, strong. And then afterwards, they would go into the cafe and have a drink together, hang out, laugh, have a lot of fun. And I remember asking my father, I said, I don't understand. You were just fighting with this guy in this debate. You were just totally opposite. You were almost screaming at each other. And now you're in a cafe having fun and drinking a beer together. I don't get that. And he would say, Marlies, we just have different ideas. I just like the guy. He likes me. We have fun. But we have very different ideas. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't have to hate him. I just don't like his ideas. And that was really big for me to hear. And I remember also one other thing, because one part of my family is Jewish. And so in Holland, Holland was occupied for 5 years by the Germans. And my father, in Dutch you have a very strong, curse word for a German. So my father couldn't speak German. He could only say that curse word. So that's what I grew up with. But I remember we went on vacation always to France, and most of the time. And I remember my father and mother, and we were go camping for 4, 5, 6 weeks. And I remember they were hanging out with this German couple, and they had a great time. And so I asked them, I said, you're cursing the Germans all the time, and now you're hanging out with these people. I don't understand. And I remember him saying, he said, Marlies, it's so easy to say the Germans did it. He said, it's not the Germans. He said, not these people. Everybody has their heart in the right place, unless they don't. And these people are just people. They happen to be born in Germany, and we happen to be born in Holland. He said, it doesn't matter. So it was very confusing for me, and simultaneously a big teaching that we don't have to make a divide. We can have other ideas, other opinions. We can have, any idea here, but we don't have to make a divide. And I feel in these times, we're very much living on that edge of, or, I feel this whole year is the year of the great divide. People are just, I notice it when I go outside and people are screaming at each other because they don't wear a mask, or they do wear a mask, or there's something going on, or the police, or you get a fine when you don't do something, or you can call the police when somebody else doesn't wear a mask, and all this nonsense. Yeah, it's all behind it is all so much fear and divide. So can we be awake in the midst of that? Can we be awake and stay here in our sanctuary, in our love, in our heart, in our clarity, and not go with this thing of the big divide, that this how earth and heaven are torn asunder when you listen to people or listen to radios and televisions and opinions and ideas that are just so tight. Doesn't matter if you're left or right or whatever. Who cares? Can we take this time as incredible teaching to rest at home in yourself? And still, yes, have your ideas, ponder, feel in your experience. What is your experience? What's your truth? Of course, feel that, be aware of that. But don't try to smear it in somebody else's face. Notice when you go against something, instead you're going being for the being. Yeah, you can feel it in your body. Instantaneously there comes a tightness. Instantaneously that tightness is the divide. So the more we come back over and over to wholeness, or first, of course, we need to first see, I want to convince this person that my idea is right and they're wrong. How can they think like this? That's crazy. That's insane how they think. Who are we to say? Who are we to say? So I see this time, and probably many other people speak this too, this time so-called of the great divide, also in the time of great opportunity to realize the wholeness that we are at all times and all situations, and stay here, to rest as love no matter what happens. And that doesn't mean I need to be lovey-dovey. Yeah. It's this combination of compassion and clarity. Just compassion is a little bit too hot, let's say. Just clarity or truth is a little bit too cold. We need them both. Yeah. That's what we need right now. Yeah. It's not following the party line. Following your own timeline. Your timeline. Daring to not doubt yourself. Daring to trust your experience. Even if everybody doesn't agree around you. Yeah? It's an incredible practice to not go into reaction, to rest as your nature. To, how do you call that? Surpass the divide. It's possible for all of us. Because the more we rest as our nature, the more true clarity and true love can be experienced and realized. The more we go in reaction, we lose ourselves. We lose our refuge because we're in separation. And again, as I said before, it takes only believing one thought. One thought sets heaven and earth apart. Believing one thought. Yeah. So look, be awake and aware in your life. Be kind with yourself. Care for yourself and care for each other. We have a choice. We don't have to live in divide. It's different when we start realizing in our minds where heaven and earth are torn asunder. Just to realize, see that. And the moment we see that, we are away from the divide. We see it, and we are back in our being, and resting as who we truly are. So take that with you. It's beautiful to sit and to ask yourself, who am I? Apart from my parents and my culture and my country, and who am I? And then what is my experience? What's my experience of the so-called global situation? What's my experience? Not what is being told to me what it is. What's my intuition? What's my sense? Can I trust that? Yes, you can trust your sense. When you know your sense, there's no division in that. There's a relaxation in that. This is my experience. I don't have to protect it. I don't have to defend it. I just know this is my experience. Very freeing. There's nobody to convince. Nobody to make better or worse, or put down or put up on a pedestal. We're just in our own nature. We're in our own true nature, true power, which is neither above or under. It meets with love. That's true power. That's inclusive. It's not above or putting somebody else below. It's just being in our sovereignty. It's just standing here, sitting here, in and as our nature, and deeply knowing that and not doubting that anymore. And again, that's a practice. It's a practice. And life will help us, always. When we have an experience or really trust that, then life will challenge it a little bit. It's beautiful. Not always easy, but just know the love that's in that. Deep love in that. Because everything in the universe is geared towards us waking up. Yeah, everything. So please use that. Use this opportunity, this life. So that when we close our eyes for the last time in these bodies, we can say this was a good life. I did the best I could. I did the best I could. I gave it my all.